we are going to be talking about 4 blind spots that is limiting your career growth. And also, please let me know if you guys can hear me. Y'all know I'll be having tech issues. Good morning, guys. So excited to have you guys here. I got my live stream tribe on this morning. Good morning. Okay, I'm not going to hold you guys up. You guys already know that if you cannot stay for the complete live stream, it is going to be saved on my YouTube channel. Good. I'm glad that everything is working this morning. So yeah, if you are not able to stay for the full live stream, know that it will be saved on my YouTube channel, and on YouTube, I am Alicia Perkins. I do live stream. I am trying to get a little bit more consistent with the day, so you guys can already know. I think I am leaning more towards Tuesday morning. So it's looking like it's going to be Tuesdays at 8:30 Central Standard Time. Yay, good morning, guys. Good morning. For those of you guys who do not know me, I am a career coach, and I help high performers increase their impact, income, and influence. And today, guys, we are going to be talking about the 4 blind spots that is hindering your growth. You guys know I have my notes, so if you see me looking down, that is what I am looking at this morning. So I definitely will not hold you guys. Let's go ahead and just deep dive right in, right? So first of all, I wanted to talk about this because, and I use the word blind spot, guys, because, a lot of people don't really know what is wrong, right? You're like, Alicia, I am showing up at work. I work hard, and you feel like you're doing all of the right things, but you feel like, I'm not really experiencing the growth that I think that I should be. So if that is you, if you feel like you are not being able to experience the growth that you should, even though you may be doing some things right, so I can know exactly who I am talking to this morning. So if you like, Alicia, I do not know what is the actual bottleneck that is holding you back from the career growth that I want to see. Good morning. Okay, good. So I'm glad to know that there are some people in the audience that need this. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to talk about, first of all, why is it important for you guys to be able to really identify what those blind spots can be? Because those blind spots, a lot of time, they can affect your pay. They can just affect your overall confidence. They can even affect how fast you are able to even advance. And so I want you guys to really start to think about, when you think about a blind spot, what it is that it's a particular area that you're not giving a lot of thought to, or it could be an area that you think isn't really a big deal, but it is. And so this is one of the things that I do with my clients that I work with, right? They're like, Alicia, I don't know what's the problem. A lot of times you hear people say, I feel stuck, right? And that's because they know that there's a problem, but they're not really quite sure, like, where is the actual source of that? So when we're talking about you being able to overcome those blind spots in order to advance in your career, it's crucial because it is going to take you being self-aware. You guys know I talk about that in almost every live stream. It's going to take you being able to be self-aware, really having a really good understanding of your strengths, a really good understanding of those weak areas, and a really good understanding of what are your values. And this is something that you may have to always work on, meaning like you're always trying to have an eye out for, is there any particular area that could be stunting my growth? Somebody said I was so hurt by this. I walked away from my job after 6 years. And trust me, I know exactly how you feel. And I know that there's a lot of hurt there, but I also, I want you to start getting excited about what that next could actually look like for you. And so, I'm really excited for you to hear this live stream because it could even allow you to even experience even more in that. Excuse me, y'all, 1 second. All right, tech. But this live stream could really allow you guys to experience even more in that next move. All right, so the first blind spot that I want to talk to you guys today about is a lack of strategic thinking. Now, I want you guys to be honest with me, right? If being strategic in your job search is not something that you really tend to do, or either in your job search or just overall, Alicia, I really don't be on the strategy piece as I should. And I know sometimes, especially if you are like, Alicia, I have to pay bills, or I have all these obligations, things of that sort. Sometimes you don't necessarily It's like you can't really always use strategy because sometimes you do find yourself in survival mode. I'm pretty sure everybody has been there at one point in time, right? You find yourself in a mode of just, I need to just survive at this point, and I get it. And there are seasons of life that you may experience that. Again, I said it is a season of life and not a way of life, right? And so, when you do find yourself in a season where you are able to really get clear on what is the strategy or the plan that needs to be in place to make sure that the move that I make now is going to align me with the goals that I want, because that is all what having a strategy really does, right? It's just making sure that you can be in alignment with the goals that you say that you want, because so many people, they will say, you know what I mean, they're like, yeah, I want this or I want that, but when you look at the moves they make, it's completely opposite, right? And people sometimes think I can't afford to be strategic, but you'll be surprised, just making small moves, right, in the right direction, how much faster you will reach your goals, other than you just trying to accept any old thing, right? And not having a plan. And you just kind of hope, well, I just hope that this just falls right. But you'll be surprised how just taking small steps and being strategic in the career moves that you make, how it's going to allow you to, for one, be more confident, because it's hard to be confident when you don't know what you're doing, right? And it's not always about knowing every step. It's just about knowing, okay, I know that I'm going in the right direction, right? And so that is what it's going to take, guys, is you guys being able to be strategic. And the only way that you can really be strategic in your career is knowing what you want, right? Or also leaning on knowing what I don't want, right? So, I want you guys to really start getting clear on, okay, what are those goals? And if they start to overwhelm you, think short term. Don't overwhelm yourself. If goals overwhelm you, think short term. Think 30 days. Think in the next 3 months. Think in the next 5 months, right? Don't overwhelm yourself, but you have to have some kind of a plan. And I know this, it's a real trendy thing where people say that they don't really believe in goals, and then and then they start to describe, like, I guess, their thought process behind it, but in the end you still have goals, right? And so goals is not something to be afraid of, and it's definitely not something to just box yourself in, but it's something that you need to hold yourself accountable to, right? It's the one thing if I say, okay, I'm trying to think of an example. I want to lose weight, right? Okay, it's another thing if I say, okay, I desire to lose 5 pounds in the next 30 days, right? Now I'm not just throwing out a wish, right? Or a hope or a dream. But when I've gotten clear on what that particular goal is, it helps me to strive towards something. So now I say, okay, now I only have 5 pounds to lose, right? And so now, since I've gotten a little bit more clear, I know what exactly it is that I wanted to move forward. Because what tends to happen, and I know we all been there, if you ever try to lose weight, if you just say, okay, I want to lose weight, and it's like a week and a half, and you go, oh my God, I've only lost 1 pound. You start feeling discouraged, right? But I thought the goal was that you wanted to lose weight, right? So after you hop on that scale after about a week, you're like, I only lost a pound, right? You start thinking like, okay, this plan, it doesn't work. But if you would have told yourself, okay, I want to lose 5 pounds in a month, and after the first week, you hop on and say, man, I've lost a pound, you're gonna feel a little bit more accomplished, right? You're like, okay, I'm already down one. I just got to lose 4 more. So that's why I do think that goals are important. And of course, the more specific that you can get on those goals, the better. But do not let a vague goal or a goal that's really broad, don't let that have you discouraged either. Just start with something. Right. And so I want to talk about the common mistakes that people tend to make, y'all, when it comes to being strategic and how they think about their career. Right. For one, like I said, not being able to set goals, or which is just as important, priorities. Okay. I want you guys to start thinking about what are some things in your life that's important. What are some very important things in your life that you need your actual job to support? Meaning, like, Alicia, I love my kids. So if that's something that's really important to you, well, you need a job that's going to allow you to spend time with your kids. It can be kids, it can be money, it can be just a job that allows you to operate in your true expertise. So I want you guys to drop for me down below. What are some very important things in your life right now that you need your job to allow you to enjoy? Okay. Also, what people tend to do, mistakes they tend to make when it comes to being strategic, is that they rely too much on their past experiences, or they rely too much on biases, right? You guys know I talk about all the time how we are in a forever changing workforce, right? The way of work is changing literally day by day, right? So if you are one that you are just stuck in this mode of everything got to look a certain way, right? If you're in this mode of thinking, okay, I know the way to advance in my career is X, Y, and Z, and you refuse to move off of that, or you're one, you're like, I know how to job search. You already have this way in your mind. You like, I know how things are supposed to go. Friend, you will not see the success that you want, right? Because I need you guys, and this also goes with my fourth blind spot, which I won't go too much into. So I want you guys to start thinking a little bit outside of the box, right? And start to allow yourself, you know what? I got to start trying to set the terms of what my career looks like and how my career is going to work for me. Somebody said family, travel, kids, we want to buy a home. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Right. So now you know that it's important that the job that you choose is going to get you closer to those things that you hold dear. Okay. Now, blind spot number 2 is not building a personal brand. If I see another one of y'all with your company name in your LinkedIn headline, friend, take your company's name out of your LinkedIn headline. They're not paying you to advertise for them, right? And of course, this is a very small aspect of a brand, but again, if the idea of having to like have a brand built overwhelms you, I definitely want you guys to start here, right? Start with your profile on LinkedIn, right? What does your profile on LinkedIn promote? Right? I want to talk about that. Now, that when I talk about headline, I'm talking about that space on LinkedIn on your page that's right underneath your picture, right? Which is one of the most important parts of your page because, when they are wanting to search for somebody that has your skill set, the first thing they see is this in that headline, right? So in your headline, what are you promoting? Right. So I should not see project manager at BBC, right? No, I need to know about the expertise that you have, right? That particular job role, I mean, that particular space is about you being able to talk about the job roles or the skills or the expertise that you have, not them. Right. So, and I don't want you guys to like overthink this whole, I got to build a brand. Right. So I want to know if the idea of having to like build a brand, if that overwhelms you or if that's something that is very confusing to you, go ahead and Alicia, me having to build a brand, girl, that overwhelms me, right? Because I want to take about 2 minutes and I want to explain to you like the idea of having a brand, right? And I want to show you the power in building a brand, especially in the job space that we are in now, guys. You guys are going to have to be able to think, how am I able to stay competitive? How am I able to stay at the top of my game? How am I able to stand out from everybody else? And it's not good. And it's not that it has to be something that takes a lot of time. It just takes strategy, right? It just takes you knowing, okay, what opportunities do I want to be able to attract to myself? Because that is what building a brand does for you. it attracts opportunity. So if you are ready to change careers or to advance, right, you can literally have opportunities come to you, and you're not the one that's always trying to search, right? I always say that being able to build a strong brand is you being able to turn yourself from the hunter into the hunted. Okay. I want everybody to say the hunted, not the hunter, right? Because you got to realize there are employers looking for people every day with your expertise, every day, right? But they can't find you, friend. They can't find you. Where are you? Right? Because they can't find you, right? Because you don't know how to actually position yourself, right? And I say this, is I'm not going to say that, if you're on LinkedIn, like that's the only place, but I do like LinkedIn because you can do so much in this one platform. They have studies that show that LinkedIn, right, is the number one site where employers source talent from, right? So I don't want you guys thinking that, oh, we're talking about having a brand, oh, thinking that you got to be in other five other websites. No, right? Just pick a place that you want to just really establish yourself, right? And you don't have to create content, right? It's just about you being able to know the expertise that you have and how you're able to attract opportunities that are in alignment with that. And so I'm going to use a very quick example, and then I will share blind spot number 3. But I always say this: think about Walmart, think about Target. They both have brands, right? But when you go into each store, you have a different feel, right? And I'll say in Walmart, it is definitely, it gives that I'm a run in and out vibe, right? It's that I'm gonna throw on a baseball cap and some sweatpants. I know exactly what I want. I'm going straight to aisle 6, and then I'm leaving, right? Target, on the other hand, Target gives, oh, I think I kind of want to be a little cute at Target, right? I don't even know what I need from Target, but I just want to kind of like browse the aisles and allow the shelves and the aisles to speak to me and tell me what are the items that I need today. Right? When you go to Target, it's like, oh, let me go to that nice Starbucks that they have in there, and I get my nice drink and I just go for a stroll, right? That is done on purpose. Right? Now we know that when you go to Target, you're gonna be spending a little bit more money, right? But you don't mind because of the experience that you feel with that person. That's when it is when it comes to your brand, right? So if you are even wanting to find yourself being paid more, right, your brand needs to shift, right? Your what people see or feel, or the vibe that they get from your expertise needs to match this new pay range that you need to be in. Does not take you going back to school, my friend, right? Does not mean that you got to go find a whole bunch of classes online. You just simply may have to shift the way that you talk about what it is that you do. You might even have to shift the way that you talk about how you solve the problems that you solve. You just may have to shift not so much on the results you bring forth, but how you bring forth those actual results, right? So I want you guys to really think about that, right? Don't think about, oh, I have to do a whole bunch of stuff. No, you got to get clear on what is the expertise that is being in front, right? And also what is the problem that it solves. And it's, you know what, guys, this works really, really good for people that's wanting to change careers. If you're wanting to change careers, I think that you need to have the strongest kind of brand, again, because you're now being able to shift the way that your expertise is being seen. But I won't go into that, y'all, because that's literally a live stream all by itself. Okay. All right. So I want to talk about some of the mistakes that it comes to not having a brand. You definitely will miss out on opportunities, and you're even able to brand yourself in the workplace. Now, that's a live stream on its own, right? You're able to brand yourself at work, right? It's just, again, what do people think about when they see you at work, right? Now, I'm gonna say this now. Hold on. I'm gonna say this. You have a brand whether or not you know it. You have a brand at work whether or not you know it. Because you can be like, Alicia, I don't have a brand. Yes, you do. Right. So it's like, so if you're at one at work, you're always just have complaints. You're always just, can always see the bad side of things. You don't halfway, you like, I don't want to talk to nobody here. You have a brand. Okay. So let's talk about blind spot number 3. So we've already talked about the first blind spot is you not being able to think strategically. Blind spot number 2 is not building a personal brand. And then the third blind spot is you underestimating the importance of soft skills. When I talk about soft skills, I'm talking about skills like, it's like skills that can't be like measured. Leadership, collaboration, things like that, right? So you'll be surprised how people will underestimate how important soft skills are, right? How well do you deal with other people? That is really what soft skills is, right? And so, especially if you are in a lead role or you're wanting to advance, you really need to focus in on this. And soft skills doesn't just help you at work, it helps you at every area in your life. Whether you have a spouse, whether you have kids, whether you have friends, just having overall soft skills, guys, is like that is really what it helps you so much. It helps you to know how to deal with people, right? Having emotional intelligence, right? Knowing how to act in like social environments. And I know this is not saying that you have to go to work and just be everybody's best friend, but what it is saying is that you really need to know how to deal with the people that you work with, right? And so you'll be surprised how you being able to hone in on your soft skills, it can help you grow tremendously, right? Because you can have all the expertise in the world, but if you don't know how to deal with people, you won't see the advancement. And so I want to talk about some common mistakes that people tend to make when it comes to them having to just improve their soft skills, right? I don't want you, one is that you don't, how can I put it? People just want to do good at work, right? And it's like, that's why I tell you guys the core of what I do with my clients is personal development, right? Because you can't be one way at work and outside of work. You like, no, or you're like, I'm only like this at work. No, I don't know. That's not true. That's not true. Right. No, it's not true, friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I say that because it's not true, because how you are really is how you are. For instance, if you are one that you just, anytime you find yourself being upset, you just shut down, you don't know how to talk through your emotions, or you're not really clear on how to come to a solution when maybe you don't agree with something, that's probably something that you also deal with at work. And I say that because the way that you're able to really improve your soft skills is something that you have to work on all the time. It doesn't matter if you're at work, it doesn't matter if you're at home, it doesn't matter if you're out in the mall, right? Having being really to really think through not just what it is that you do, but think about why is it that you respond the way that you do. And so when you start to really think about, okay, what do I need to change just in me overall, not just what traits need to change at work, but what traits do I need to change overall, that's just going to help me be better, right? And so when you start to look at yourself in a more holistic way, you having to make a change or adjust is not going to seem so hard, because you're not just trying to change a different version of you. You want to change the whole you, right? And so that is really what that success piece is about, because I do think having a career is super important, but the reality of it needs to be is, what do I need to be or do, just so I can be better, period. Because that is what helps you sleep well at night. Not, oh, I'm doing really, really great in my job, right? But my home life is trash, right? But when you start to make those adjustments, start thinking about, okay, what is that I need to do so I can just grow and improve. Now you'll start to see yourself having a more consistent success. You won't start feeling like when you're at work that you have to put on a mask. That's a whole nother live stream. right? You don't feel like, oh, I have to always like I have to be a certain way at work and a certain way at home, right? Because now it's not just about me wanting to advance in my career, it's about me just having a desire to advance in life. So does anybody want holistic growth, right? If that's something that you want, if you just want to grow overall, if you're like Alicia, I'm tired of sabotaging opportunities or just different relationships in my life because I don't know how to respond to certain things, right? I myself, right? I've had to overcome so much with that. I had to say, Alicia, like, friend, the way you do things, it just don't work. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. It doesn't work. I had to say, you know what? It's not everybody else. It's you. I had to say, you know what? You know what, Alicia, you do have a bad attitude. Alicia, you don't know how to be quiet. Alicia, you always have something to say. Alicia, you cannot take when people do not agree with you, right? And so once you start to become self-aware, you start to hold yourself accountable because we are so quick to say what everybody else is doing wrong, but we will not talk about what we do wrong, right? And that alone takes a level of just growth. That takes a level of maturity. Some people experience, and not all, but some people will experience complete chaos at work, right? And they don't know that they are the source of it. Okay, now this live stream is going in a whole other direction, and I don't care because I'm gonna let it flow, right? Or experiencing straight chaos at work, and they don't know. Wait a minute, it's not everybody else, it's me, right? So I had to start to just look at things in my life and see, okay, wait a minute, this way about me is affecting my marriage, affecting how I deal with my child, it's affecting my friendship, it's affecting how I operate in my job. When you start to get real with yourself, that is when you are going to experience real growth. I will say that again. When you start to get real with yourself, that is when you'll start to experience real growth. I feel like I do everything wrong. Don't be discouraged. I used to be there. I'd be like, and that's what happens, right? As soon as you start to see things about yourself that isn't right, you're like, you know what, this needs to change. Now this feeling of what's the word? Self pity comes into play, but that's only a distraction. That's just a distraction, right? Because now you're not focused on what is the action I need to take to improve. Now the focus is on, man, I do everything wrong. But no, friend, don't stop there, right? Don't stop there. Keep going, right? Keep moving towards, okay, now what is it that I need to do? Because y'all, it doesn't take a long time to change, right? I tell people all change is just building new habits. What makes I guess the what do you call it? Like, I guess what makes growth, like some growth take a really long time, is that you are just fighting what you know that you already need to do. Right. So that is what really stops people from advancing in their career, because it's the thing that you don't want to do. It's the thing that you don't want to do that's keeping you from the thing that you say that you want, right? And so when you can start to really, take the control and really start to say, you know what, I have a choice, right? I'm not going to allow myself to just play, oh, everybody's doing me so wrong, right? No, I have a choice. And that choice can be whatever it needs to be, right? Because there are some environments you will find yourself in that it really isn't you, right? It's not you. It really is the people that you work with. And so in those moments, you have a choice. Either you can leave or stay, right? And so that's where some people tend to go wrong, because they just want to be able to change everything around them. They want to change everybody. And I think that alone can be a really toxic trait. Just having the desire to just change everything and everybody. Not saying that sometimes you can't influence change. I definitely think that you can sometimes, but just feeling the need that you have to be the one to do it. I hear all the time people say, I just can't leave my job because they need me. Like, if I wasn't here, like my whole team would be so sad and everybody would just fall apart, and you find yourself being this hero to the people on your team that never said that they needed to be saved. I'm gonna say it again. You find yourself being a hero to the people on your team that never said that they needed or even wanted to be saved. Right. And so you guys are asking yourself, like, why do I feel the need that I got to be able to save everybody? Because what happens with is when you're trying to save everybody else, chances are you're not saving yourself, right? When you are trying to save everybody else, chances are you are forgetting about you. When you're trying to save everybody else, chances are you are the one drowning, right? And you'll be surprised how the action you take, that can be the thing that people need in order to change. You being able to become a more improved you being able to grow. Your change can be the change that the other people needed to see. So a lot of times it's not in, you having to stay and work something out. Sometimes you just simply moving on can provoke other people to do better. Sometimes you being able to work through the conflict on your job and the people that you work with is able to see you respond the right way, that can change the whole environment, right? So sometimes the change that you desire to see is in the growth that you need, right? And so, and this is not to say that, uh, that all of the blame of your work needs to be on you. No, no. But it is saying you need to be in a place of maturity to where you can always look at yourself and say, okay, what is it that I did? Right? Is there any way in this thing could I have maybe responded? Right? Because this is the thing, you don't want your behavior to overshadow your expertise. And I don't know where we've been taught that the only way that other people will hear me or the only way that I can receive respect is if I have to say things in a certain way, right? But you can only control you. And when you get to the level of maturity, especially in the workplace, where you're able to deal with different personalities, right? And you're able to not deal with different personalities, but appreciate other personalities. You're going to find yourself being the leader that you say that you want to be. Because what makes a good leader, child, this live stream is going all over the place, but I'm almost done. What makes you a good leader, right, is how you make people feel. And I'll say this, what makes you a good leader is how you treat people that you don't even have to lead. I'll say it again. What makes you a good leader is how you treat people that you don't even have to lead. Like those have been the most, like in my, like all of my career, the people that have made the most impact wasn't it wasn't necessarily how they were towards me, though it was good, but it's how I saw them treat other people, right? How I saw them handle conflict, how I saw them handle when they thought that they've been done wrong, how I saw them handle themselves when they thought that they had been passed over. Right? Those are the people that made the most impact in my life. And so if you are one that you desire to impact the people who work around you, start asking yourself, what do let me say this, what do other people see when they see me? Not how you see yourself, because sometimes how you see yourself ain't all the way true, because you'd be like, oh, I'm just being real, you like, um, I'm just being real. No, you being real rude. I don't know why that's so funny to me, right? You like, like, no, okay, you being real rude. You were absolutely right, right? But maturity comes into play, right? When you can find yourself in a really difficult or really uncomfortable, thing at work, and you don't lean on your emotions. You can acknowledge them, but you don't lean on your emotions. You lean on the solution. How are we able? How are we able to solve this? Right? Put your emotions aside just for a second, right? But Now you have to make a choice, okay? If an issue, if a problem is not seeming like you are able to solve it, it can't be resolved. You know that I've done what I could to resolve this and it's not. Now you have the choice, right? Is this something that I can deal with? Or is it time for me to move, right? Because the worst thing that you can do is change jobs because you feel like everywhere I go, it's X, Y, and Z. Ask yourself that, why is it that everywhere you go, it's X, Y, and Z? And friend, I'm speaking all this in love because I want you to do better and I want you to be better. So if you ever need a friend who is not going to take sides but just speak the truth to you, friend, you can always come to me, right? And so ask yourself, why is it that everywhere I go, and it doesn't have to be your career everywhere. Why is it that every friendship I have looks like this? Why is it that every job that I pick looks like this? It could be, ask yourself, is it, how do I actually qualify these things? How do I qualify the jobs? Meaning, like, how do I decide whether or not this is a good thing? Am I always ignoring red flags? Am I always just so quick to accept something, right? Even in your friendships, how do I qualify the relationships in my life? Like, what do I look to see if this is something that's good for me? Because it could very well be how you are actually qualifying, but it also could be how you are responding, which is why you keep on getting the same results. And so when you can start to see, hold on, the root of the issue is in my responses, now you know what needs to change, right? Because it doesn't matter how many new jobs you get, you will always have to deal with you. You will be at every job that you find, right? And so I tell people, especially the clients I work with, I help them get clear. What is this change about? Because you can say, oh, I just want something new. No, you were running away from conflict and you need conflict in order to grow, right? Or you can say, oh, I'm bored. Okay, I get it. There are some people who very well can be bored, right? But let's get to the root of it. What I want to be sure with my clients that you're not running away from something. And if you are running away from something, that something is, hey, I have actually outgrown this job. This job, it no longer supports the lifestyle that I want. I have experienced conflict with this employer and I've tried to really just have it resolved and healed, but it ain't changing. Cool, friend. Let's plan the move. Let's get that play together, right? But when you start saying, oh yeah, because and it's all this drama, no, friend. Now I would never make anybody stay anywhere, but I got to be able to bring out both sides because you can't run away from you. Right. And so when you get to the point of your career, especially you guys who've been in your career for 10 years and up, there's an expertise there. And I would hate for that expertise. I would hate for your results. I would hate for your receipts. I would hate for that to be null and void because your responses overshadow all of that. Right. And this is not saying that you have to go to work and just be fake. Absolutely not. But I'm telling you that you can handle conflict in a way that it does not damage your reputation. Because it's like, what do you want to be known for? Especially you guys that are in management roles, right? It is no longer about what you can do. It's about how you deal with people. I told you guys before, like the leaders that's made the most impact in my life has been the leaders that saw how they treated other people, right? And so I want you guys to start thinking, what are those soft skills that you need to improve, right? And that's why when I coach my clients, I coach with a very good mix of career advancement, personal development, and leadership training. These are the three, right? Because a lot of times you can't have one without the other two, right? And so again, I want you guys to start to look at your career holistically. Excuse me. All right, so oh y'all, we got deep this morning. Let's take like a little break. If you guys are enjoying this, drop a one for me. You guys know I always go in on my live streams, but I go in because I just care about y'all too much. And I want you guys to do good. But I want you guys to know 90% of the time, what is holding you back is you. Okay. All right, so we talked about how blind spot number one is not having a good strategy. You lack strategic. Number two is not building a personal brand. Number three is you are underestimating the importance of soft skills. And number four is that you have a limited perspective. Or I guess you can say you don't want to embrace change, right? Somebody said, hold on. Somebody said outgrown and underpaid. Okay, friend, but friend, you are on the right track. Okay. I'm so happy of the work that you have been. Yes, she has been doing great, great work. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so number four is not wanting to embrace change, which kind of goes back a little bit to what that point one was when I was talking about how you don't want to like be strategic, right? And a lot of times you don't want to be strategic, and that's because you don't want to embrace change. It's if anybody is afraid of change, right? If the thought of doing something new or the thought of having to operate in a different way or just do anything new, if that scares you, if you're like, Alicia, I know I need to change, but I'm scared, drop a two, right? Because I really want to help you, right? So and when we're talking about you're not wanting to embrace change, what we're talking about is you not able to really consider another point of view other than your own, right? You not wanting to consider another point of view other than your own. And this really hurts your growth because it really, for one, it stops you from being able to really relate to the people around you. When I say relate, not saying that you got to be best friends, but what I am saying is that it helps you to be able to even connect on some degree to the people that you work with. It stops you from being able to really navigate complex things that happen at work because you're thinking that everything has to go a certain way. And I tend to see this in the more the like the higher mid senior level folks, like they have a really really hard time being able to break out of what they think things need to actually look like. And that's why a lot of times when people come to me and their original thought is I want to change careers, right? But when I help them to see, no, you don't really want to change careers. Like after I've helped them to deep dive and we really got down to the root of what this change is about. No, you don't really want to change careers. You want to keep the same expertise and you even want to stay in the same field. You just want to be able to change what that looks like. And so that's not even a complete career change, right? But because they think that, me being in this field has to look a certain way, they automatically say, I want something new. No, you don't have to get something new. It may just very well just need to be tweaked. But when you're one that you don't really like change, you tend to go to the extremes with everything, right? And I say that because people who think on extremes, meaning that it's either all the way this way or it's all the way my mic or it's all the way that way. A lot of times it's because of the fear. So the fear is either going to drive you to go all the way in this way or all the way in that way because you just kind of being in the middle scares you half to death, right? And so what I want you guys to start thinking is like, man, like, when it comes to what I think that my career should look like, am I putting myself in a box? Am I like, do I tell myself that I have to be able to, I either got to choose this or this, right? But have you ever thought about this, right? I've had a few clients that I work with, they were actually able to create their role, right? They knew the expertise that they had, but they was like, Alicia, this role that I want to do, there's not a lot of options for this role. I said, well, have you started to really identify who you want to work for? As I always say, you being able to identify who you want to work for is more important than anything. I said, have you been able to really identify who it is? So what I do is I sit down with them and I help them to create a list of employers that they knew that their skill set could help, but that particular company didn't even have that role. So they pitched themselves, right? They got so clear on their expertise, that they got so clear on the problems that they had and the problems that they could solve, right? And they pitched themselves. And they were even able to create a role for themselves that didn't even exist, right? Didn't even exist. I see now that with now companies have a role. It's called the chief TikTok officer. All they do is TikTok. Now, that role was not even a role 6 months ago. So let me ask you a question. Do you think that you're able to create the opportunities that you want? Or do you think, no, if I want this kind of job, I got to get it this way? Or I have to start all the way at the bottom and then go all the way up, right? Do you really believe that you can create opportunities for yourself? Because if you don't, you are forever. Now, this is not to say that everybody has to go in, have their role idea pitched, right? None whatsoever. But have you ever thought about looking at your expertise in a different light? Because you very well may love what you do. You just need to change who you do it for. Or you may need to change the people that you serve with your skills, right? And so, again, thinking outside of the box. Hey, friend, this is 2023. Skies are the limit, right? You can literally do and be whoever you desire to be. But the question is, do you believe that you can, right? Or are you in this way? If you want to advance in your career, it has to be done this way. Are you in this mindset of, oh, in order to even excel in my role, I have to be here for a year? Says who? You know, I just helped a client get an extra $49,000 in her in the role she has now. I just helped her get an extra $49,000. Now people say you can't get no raise for that much. Says who, right? You create the rules. Now again, if you do want to operate your career on certain terms, it's not about you trying to shove those terms down your company's throat. It's about you being able to, first of all, make sure that they see the value, right? And it's up to you to go find the person that does if they don't, right? So I want you guys to start thinking about, hey, I don't have to operate my career like everybody else is, right? Now, it can feel, not be, but it can, because things can feel a certain way, but that's not the reality. But it can definitely feel scary, right? But I want you guys to really get clear. First of all, you got to get clear on what you want, right? Then you have to get clear on how soon do I want this thing, right? And don't be afraid to dream big. I say all the time, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough, right? Like, don't be afraid to really think about it. You're like, Alicia, I want a C-suite position. Now, I'm not talking about somebody that's just starting in the whole workforce in the last 6 months. I want to be in C-suite in the next 6 months, right? I'm not talking about that. But if you're like, Alicia, I haven't really been in my field a long time, but I got great results. Like, I'm great at what I do. Alicia, I desire to be in a director role. I desire to be in C-suite within the next year. Okay, what do we need to do to get you there? You After you sit down and have the plan, we may can get you there in 6 months, right? But if you don't even allow yourself to even think that's possible, it won't happen, right? So I want you guys to start thinking about what areas of my life am I putting myself in a box? You can say, Alicia, I desire to make 175 grand a year, right? Now, again, I'm not talking about somebody who like necessarily, I don't know though, because I don't know y'all, because these days folks are getting paid, right? But what I'm talking about, if you're like, I know what my skill set is worth. And this is the thing, so much. I just feel like I need to have a whole day with you guys. This is the thing. Like, people think in order to make more money, they think that it has to come, oh, I'm gonna get an extra $5,000 here. I can get an extra 10 here. Then when I get this job, I can do an extra five. If you keep thinking that way, it's gonna take you for forever to get to the amount that you want to be. But start telling yourself, with every move, I need to make at least the increase needs to be at least 20 to 25%. And it's just an example of what I make now. Start setting the bar. If there's no bar set, there's nothing to work towards, right? I helped my last client get a $75,000 raise. You would think, oh, it takes you at least 4 or 5 years. No, she did it in 6 months. Right? So don't put yourself so much in a box that where you keep on telling yourself this can't happen. This is just life, period. If you keep on looking for reasons as to why something can't happen, you won't ever have anything, because it's always going to be a really good reason as to why this can't work. But I want you to lean on, wait a minute, what if this does work out? Right? What if I am able to accomplish this goal? What if I am able to really get the thing that I want? But it first starts up here. Well, y'all is chatting it up in these comments. See what y'all saying? It's been all the rejection. Wait, hold on, let me go back up. Oh, y'all is chatting. Don't leave me out, friend. I think I have been undervalued for so long. I feel I don't have any value. Yeah. Let me put these notes down. Friend. And again, if you gotta go, you can go and watch the replay on my channel on YouTube. And I am Alicia Perkins, but I want to talk to my friend this morning. And this happens a lot, right? And let me show you a comment. This tends to happen a lot. I think I have been undervalued for so long. I feel like I don't have any value. This is what happens, right? This is why it's so important to, for one, know your own value and don't look for that. What's the word? Don't look for validation in other things. You cannot get like that from outside things. You absolutely can't, because these outside things are, anytime those things are rocked, your self-view or the value to see for yourself is rocked also. That's why it has to come from inside. And a lot of that comes from being able to separate what you do at work from the person that you are. Right? You have to know, even on your worst day, even when you're not bringing forth results, because there are seasons in your career that you will literally just be going through stuff, friend. Like either at home, you could find yourself sick in your body, your health may not be at the best. You may not be able to bring forth the results at that time as you once did in the past. But for one, it does not mean that it's always going to be that way. And for two, you got to know that even when I'm not being valuable to somebody else, I'm still valuable. Right? Even though I'm not able to show up the way that I want to right now, does not mean that I can't show up. Right? And so, a lot of people tend to make, they tend to really base their value on a particular experience. They tend to base their value on maybe a season of life that they're in, and not realizing that the value that I have does not come from the results that I bring forth. When I talk about value, I'm talking about self, right? I'm talking about how you value yourself, because how you value yourself, it can be seen in the moves that you make and the moves that you don't make, right? And so when you start to get clear on, wait a minute, right? Why am I always playing it small? Because you feel that you're small. Right? When you start thinking about why do I always, I will not go after jobs I want because I don't have enough experience. Why? Because you don't feel that you are enough. And so it's very clear, it's very important for you to get clear on, where does that come from? Like, why do you always tell yourself, or why is it always easier to believe that you can't have rather than you can? Right? And so when you start to get to the root of it, and also, and all this I'm saying, I'm not a therapist, so I'm not speaking directly to you, right? I'm just saying like what it could be. A lot of times that people, because there's no fulfillment outside of work, they use work to gain all their fulfillment, all their value, right? Because there really isn't anything going on outside of work. I say anything, I'm not saying you gotta be doing like all kinds of exciting stuff, because I have a really chill life. I'm either at church or I'm working. Like, so what I am saying is that when you have not been able to identify your value outside of your career, or even be fulfilled in something else other than your job, you will always be like, my job is just not enough for me. Yeah, it's not enough, because your job can't be everything. right? Like I have a relationship with the Lord, right? That alone validates me. That alone, the love of God validates me. So even on my worst day, even months, it have been months in my business where I was not doing as many sales as I wanted to, even in my worst revenue month, that does not determine the value that I have, right? Because my value does not come from how many sales I can get. It comes from the one that I serve. And so when you can start to find something outside of your work, when you can start to hone in on something outside of what you do, when you do experience hardships in your job, or when you are in your job search and you applying and you getting told no, you can tell yourself, wait a minute, I may need to tweak some things, right? But it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with me. And a lot of times when you start feeling like I don't have the value that I feel like I should have, sometimes that is a clear like sign that it's just time for growth, right? Meaning that what you say you want, right? The person that you now are can't support that, right? So this is not a time to get discouraged and say, oh, I'll never have anything, right? But it's just a time for you to say, okay, wait a minute. Who do I need to become? Not what do I need to do? Who do I need to become? Right. And so it could be a lot of different things. That's how I wanted to kind of shed light, because that feeling of I don't have any value based on what? Like, what is that being based on? Because I pray in this job space that we are now in that it's not your job, because folks being laid off left and right. People are being laid off left and right, right? So do not place something as huge as your value or your self-worth on something that can be gone in a minute. That's why I place my value on the Lord, because he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere, right? And so, you can't find yourself being so connected to your career that you lose sight of who you are. And this is why when folks are being laid off or they get fired or lose a job out the blue, they're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do now. Or they have a sense of, oh my God, like what do I have now? And I'm not saying being laid off is not a hurtful thing, but what I am saying, right, is that you have to be able to know that you have the power to get another job, and that just because you lost something on the outside doesn't mean that you lost something on the inside. Again, those external factors cannot bring internal validation. It just can't, right? And when I say external factors, it's not just your career. I'm talking about your family, your friends, your husband, your wife, right? Success of any kind cannot bring the that true belief on the inside. Like look how many people kill themselves that have a lot of money. So we know that being successful doesn't bring you that, right? Though it's nothing wrong with being successful, but you got to know at the end of the day, when you leave your job, you have to know that I'm still worth something, right? And if you do not realize that, you will continue to be overworked because you are in a constant state of trying to prove yourself. That is where I had a post last week went viral on LinkedIn. Like, I began to say that when you're overworking yourself, that is not a sign of strength, but that is a sign of you feeling like you are like you don't have enough. And so you overwork yourself to feel validated, right? But once you start realizing that my career, my job title, how much money I make, it doesn't make me, right? And so, who I didn't mean to get all deep on y'all, but I will do a quick recap. The first blind spot was you not being strategic. Number two was you tend to what was I said? What was number two? Yeah, I think we went all over the places. Oh, not understanding the importance of soft skills. Then I talked about you having a limited perspective. Then I also talked about, there's one more I'm missing, y'all. You not building a brand. Okay. So now that I've made these blind spots aware to you, I want you guys to start doing the work. Right. And y'all, the work ain't easy. And guess what? The work ain't always they don't always look good either, right? When you start working on yourself, you start saying, "Oh, child, was this really how I was?" And that's the thing. I'm not saying to change yourself to be accepted by others. I'm saying change yourself so you can like yourself. Because a lot of times you find yourself more frustrated with you than anybody else, right? And so I think it's really, really important, guys. I think it's really important for you guys to really start to hone in on that. If you want support in this process of growth, I guess you could call it, you are able to work with me over the course of 8 weeks. I have an opportunity where you can work with me one-to-one over 8 weeks, where we can really help you in your career advancement. Get clear on where your career is and where you want your actual career to go. Help you with personal development and help you become a better leader. This is done through my program, The Best You, where we're able to increase your impact, your income, and your influence. If you want more information on that, guys, you can definitely send me a DM, or you can also go to IamAliciaPerkins.com and find more information out there. Also, if you want to know how your personality is affecting your career, you can go to IamAliciaPerkins.com/quiz. Child, this quiz has read so many people. I get emails all the time of people saying, "Oh, that's me." And so if you want to know exactly how your career, even you, how you showing up at work, how that is affecting your career, go to IamAliciaPerkins.com/quiz and take that quiz. It's really quick and fun. Also, if you want exclusive content, guys, you can go to careert.me. That's careertea.me and get exclusive content from me all week. Oh, thank you. Glad I turned in. You're always a voice of reason. I wish I knew your name because I can't see your name. And if you're not connected with me on LinkedIn, please go do so. I am everywhere. I have content on TikTok, IG, Facebook, but my home is LinkedIn. So if you definitely want to talk to me, make sure that you do hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm going to go through these questions, make sure I didn't miss anybody. I'm starting from the bottom all the time to prove myself. See, I knew this live stream was going to help you. Also, if you guys want me to talk about more topics on my live stream, please let me know. I am introverted and having to network is a hard challenge for me. I could probably have a better job. Yeah, that's the thing. I think, one, you can definitely change what that looks like for you. I tell people, again, it's kind of like you don't have to do everything how people say you have to do it. And the important thing with building relationships and learning how to network is just start. Like, don't wait to feel it. Just start. Just contact one person, and then start to really build relationships with the people that you already know. If there's anybody at your old job, right? Is there anybody at the job that you work with now? Is there anybody who you went to school with? Simply, like, really, like seriously, start now. Like, if there's any events in the area that you live in, go to those, right? And so when you talk about networking, it doesn't have to be just on LinkedIn, though it can be very convenient because everything is right here on your phone. But just start with the people that you already know. That's true. Self-awareness, keep getting the same job, stuck in pay rate experience, where I'm working on overcoming the mind junk. And that's the thing, when you start to be consistent in overcoming those beliefs, and how that happens is that every time that belief pops in, that belief of saying I'm not enough, right? You gotta begin to change that out, right? Even myself, like, and I don't know what y'all relationship is, but I pray. Okay. I've had to pray and fast for different things and ask God to really shift my mindset, y'all. And He did just that for me. But it takes intention. Like, change doesn't just happen out the blue. It doesn't, right? But it takes you having to know what needs to change and being aware of when that thing pops up, that thing that always self sabotages every opportunity for me. When that pops up, you got to make a conscious decision. I'm not going to do that, but I'll do this. And like I said, it's being able to create new habits. Amen. That peace, the only he can give, not like the world gives, is the reason I walked away from work. I was not going to allow that to be compromised anymore. We need to see ourselves through his eyes. And that promotion was not there. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, I'm tired of being sick and tired. Child, when you get tired of being sick and tired, that's when you about to see a change. Oh, Lorraine, my friend. I wonder why your name is blocked. Hey, boo. All right, guys, I'm not gonna hold y'all up. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. Again, if there was any like aha moments, any insights, guys, go ahead and send me a message on LinkedIn. I would love to hear your thoughts or any other questions that you may have. Like I said, I really believe that I will be going live every Tuesday at 8:30 Central Standard Time. If you join my tribe at the careert.me, I always send an email like a few days before I go live. Sometimes it may be that day before, but I always let my tribe know when I'm going live, because I know sometimes with this LinkedIn, it be everywhere. So all right, I miss Lorraine. I love you too. All right, guys. Well,